Chaplain Dillard initiates creating and posting these videos. Their contents and YouTube's linked videos do not necessarily reflect specific beliefs, practices, requirements, or endorsements of the Department of Defense, its subordinate organizations, or other groups with which Chaplain Dillard is affiliated.
Welcome back. This is our last video on multiculturalism. If you haven't watched the previous videos, again, I would encourage you to start there. This series is somewhat cumulative, and I won't repeat the specifics that I've already covered in those previous videos. At the end of the last one, I recommended talking with someone who had been to the new place that you want to move to for work or leisure or studies or anything else. I want to get into some more specifics on that here and how to prepare for that specific culture. And you can start by asking yourself, in previous multicultural settings, what has worked to help you integrate successfully? When you sit down to talk with that person, you should have an inventory in your mind of your success stories. And those need to be on some specific areas so you can talk with this person and they can give you some feedback on how helpful that will be in the area that you're hoping to move to. For example, your related experiences and knowledge in other areas, specific skills or interests in work, education, religion, leisure, etc., and your connections with people, personal and or professional. When you bring that knowledge base, that fodder for discussion with a person, they can give you feedback on how that could be similar to where you're going to work or hope to be living compared to where you have used those in the past. For example, maybe you worked in Mexico in a specific business and now you want to go live in Spain to go to school. There could be some overlap there, there could be some big differences there, but you want to bring your past experiences, the skills that you think have worked, any connections personally or professionally that helped you to succeed in the last experience and talk about how that may or may not fit in the next experience. But you also need to ask, in what specific areas have you consistently struggled to integrate? This is probably even more important because if you succeeded in certain things, you're likely to pursue and do those things successfully again, and the person that you sit down to talk with can give you some feedback on how that can be done most effectively. But if there have been areas of struggle, then those are likely to be areas of struggle again, and you may hesitate to get involved there, you may lack some confidence, you may lack some skills, but those are the areas, those are the very areas that you need to concentrate on and focus on. We tend to want to focus on our successes, but that really won't help us to grow. It may be more helpful to focus on our deficits because those are the areas in which we need to grow. Thirdly, and finally, ask yourself, with whom can you discuss and practice filling some of those specific gaps? Identify who's had extensive, successful time there and wants to help you. So of all the people that you know here and maybe connected with online, first of all, find out who's out there that's been to where you want to go and has done it well. But even more importantly, who wants to help you. If you don't have a personal relationship with this person, or maybe they're reserved, or maybe they're unusually busy, even if they have a lot of knowledge that they could pass on to you, if they don't have time or interest to help you, cross them off your list and go to somebody else. You need somebody who's going to want to spend that time with you face to face or on the phone. Not the best case scenario, but even through email if that's the only way you can talk to them. But they've been there, they've done it well, they're available to you, and they want to spend time with you. Then send them a link to the previous video on cultural spectrums and key functions. If you haven't seen that video, again, watch that. There's one page that I put up on the video, and there's spectrums of opposing values or beliefs, and somewhere along that spectrum, you can have the person to circle where they think that society is and their preferences and their beliefs, and then you compare that to how you would have answered and overlay those two and make that a point of discussion for how well you're going to fit in places you might struggle in. And at the bottom of that very same page were some specific categories of banking and commerce and families and communications and transportation and other things, and you can make that a point of discussion or several points of discussion with this person. And lastly, plan to meet several times to discuss general topics and specific concerns. So this is probably going to take more than one conversation. Again, this is somebody, it should be somebody that wants to meet with you. They're going to make time and make it realistic, maybe only 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time, depending on their level of availability and interest and your level of availability and interest. But it's probably going to take several times to meet with them to talk about all those things, and even the conversations you have will probably generate additional questions and additional concerns for follow-ups. I've done this a few times with different people, and sometimes it goes over weeks and even months, but make it mutually beneficial to the other person, letting them know how much you appreciate them helping you. Give them some positive feedback and show your level of appreciation so that they want to continue to meet with you, because time is valuable to all of us, and it's going to take some time to prepare for this integration into this new culture. Hope that makes some sense. Hope you're finding this helpful. Tune in next time. We'll start an entirely different series, and I hope to see you then.
At the release date of this video, I am stationed with Research Development and Engineering Command, RDECOM, at Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. Because the majority of our personnel are in this area, I spend most of my time here. I do, however, travel to our distant units based on command priorities and budget. I place these videos on YouTube for broad visibility to Army personnel and their families, but I hope the videos will be helpful to others too. If you are assigned to RDECOM and want to request specific topics by video, training on site or by VTC, or confidential counseling on site or by secure webcam, you can contact me at jeffrey.d.dillard.mil@mail.mil.